This is Glow in the Dark Radio. The science fiction podcast, with original independent science fiction, written and performed by Mike Luoma, with music by Kevin MacLeod. The Vatican Assassin Trilogy and The Adventures of Alibi Jones by Mike Luoma are available in ebook, trade paperback, and audiobook wherever you find your books online. Get links and details at glowinthedarkradio.com. This is the science fiction podcast, Glow in the Dark Radio. I'm your host, your writer and reader, Mike Luoma, and I've got Chapter 24 of Alibi Jones and the Hornet's Nest coming up on this episode. We had a cliffhanger ending last time, so I don't want to slow things down by talking too much, but to set things up, when we last left Alibi Jones, a woman seemed to be trying to kill him. Alibi awoke to find Dr. Janette Bially with an old-fashioned syringe full of something. And when he woke up, she stopped what she was about to do, injected into his IV, and she started lunging at him with the needle. And that's where we're going to pick things up. Right there, in Chapter 24 of Alibi Jones and the Hornet's Nest, coming up on Glow in the Dark Radio. Before we get into the chapter, I would ask that you please consider becoming a patron of Glow in the Dark Radio. Please consider supporting the podcast at patreon.com/glowinthedarkradio. The economy being what it is, I've lost a couple of patrons this year. So if you can help support my efforts, the podcast and websites and such, for $2, $5, or $10 a month, please do. And again, the address to find out more or do that is patreon.com/glowinthedarkradio. And a big thank you to Jim, who's been a long-standing patron. He just upped his contribution. So thank you, Jim. That was a nice surprise. Well, I said I wasn't going to talk too much, so let me get us into Chapter 24 right after this on Glow in the Dark Radio.
Wake up, go to work. Work. Come home. Eat dinner. Rot your brain out. Go to bed. Lather. Rinse. Repeat. Are you tired of an old humdrum life? Tired of things that just weigh you down and depress you? Wouldn't you rather just focus on things that are awesome? Tune into Nutty Bites. Find out what's awesome. Nutty Bites. nimlas.org/blog.
Now here's Chapter 24 of Alibi Jones and the Hornet's Nest on Glow in the Dark Radio. Alibi dodged the needle as it neared his right eye. The woman's arm shot past his head. He grabbed her shoulder, used her momentum to push her backwards toward the wall behind them, next to the bed. "Hey!" she cried. Then Bialy's head hit the wall with a dull thwack. She sank to the floor, out cold. "Security!" Alibi called out. "Help! Security! Intruder in my room! Security!" Krish visited early the next morning to let Alibi know the safe had Bially under lock and key after her middle-of-the-night raid on Alibi's room. "Dr. Bially was trying to kill you," Krish said, filling in Alibi. "The toxin in that syringe was as potent as it was untraceable. Would have looked like a mistake with your anesthetic." "What did I ever do to her?" Alibi asked. She was an acquaintance of Lenora Schwald, Krish offered. Maybe she blamed you for her death. But you said Schwald and scientists didn't get along, Alibi said. True, Krish admitted. I don't really know, to tell you the truth, Alibi. They're questioning her now. Maybe she'll tell us herself. I'd like to question her, Alibi said. Maybe use some old-fashioned methods, involving syringes. I don't think that's an option, I'm afraid, Krish said. But maybe they'll let you see the session after they finish. I'll check. Thanks, Krish, Alibi said. A few hours later, the local commander consented to let Alibi watch the footage of Bially's questioning. At Krish's urging, the lead investigator on the case came to visit Alibi. He set up a small view screen, projecting over the hospital bed. As you'll see, we've charged her, Safe Inspector Binta said. She gave us all we needed. He pressed play. I almost died on Kismet, Bially said. My Brian did. He killed my husband. Alibi Jones is a murderer. He killed so many. He shouldn't get to live. He hit pause. It was an accident, Alibi said. Kismet. Still. We don't think she worked alone, Binta said. But she's acting as if she did, not giving up anyone else. Who do you think she was working with? Alibi asked. We don't know, the inspector said. Someone who could get her assigned to this secret mission, despite her animosity towards Alibi. Look, watch this. The inspector called up another media file, dated back a couple months, to just after Constantine offered up Alibi as the culprit behind Kismet's destruction. A distraught, disheveled Dr. Bially appeared on the screen. It's been hard, Bially said. Hearing the news, I've kind of relived it all again. Losing my Brian. I don't care whose kid he is. If I saw that Alibi Jones myself right now, I'd kill him. The inspector stopped the playback. That was her on a news show. Not exactly hiding her feelings. Nope, Alibi said. Chilling, hearing her say that. Yet, she had friends that got her assigned to take care of you, the inspector said. They didn't have to be her friends, Alibi said. Just people who knew what she wanted to do and were willing to help her do it. Yep, Binta said, was using the term friends loosely. Alibi laughed to himself. You know, they say the Depot Fringe is a dangerous place, Alibi said. And that's certainly true, but the Heart of the Solar Alliance seems pretty dangerous too, at least for some of us. Inspector Binta looked like he was having trouble digesting his dinner. He leaned in to whisper to Alibi past his grimace. The newest people are bad actors, the inspector whispered. The safe is being undermined by the advancement of those who support the new prime rep and his party. You are not one of their favorites. It is easy to see how this situation could have been allowed to develop. They are ascendant. You are not. The inspector looked around, as if worried of eavesdroppers. I will look into this further, he said. But if I get any pushback, I'm going to have to let it go, just so we understand each other. He leaned back. I see, Alibi said. You do what you can. Thanks. The inspector left Alibi alone in the hospital room. Another safe trooper remained outside and guarded the door. But Alibi was starting to wonder if there was any real safety for him here on Ceres. Need to get back out to the Fringe, to the Hornet's Nest. He put in a call to his Aunt Anita. Time to get out of the solar system. She wasn't available, off on her mission, so Alibi left a request for a call back. A few hours later, he heard the comm ping. Your mother wants to talk to you, the hospital comm center informed Alibi. They must mean Aunt Anita. People do that all the time. Think she's my mother. Good. I'm glad she's calling. Had a bad feeling about her mission, for some reason. Sure, put her through. Been waiting to hear from her, Alibi said. It wasn't Anita. His actual mother, Ruth, was on the comm. But, no, wait. Alibi hadn't seen or talked to her in over 20 years. Hadn't been in the same room with her since the day she shot and killed Alibi's father, when Alibi was 3 years old. Now, there she was, on the comm screen, right in front of him. "Hello, Alibi," she said. Alibi didn't know what to say. He stared straight ahead at the woman. She was older, but looked like he remembered on some level. Seen more pictures of her than anything. Looked a bit like him, truth be told. "You look good," she said. "Are you doing well? Are you okay?" Alibi looked away from the screen. "End!" he called out, severing the connection. He stared back at the blank screen. Handled that well. Not my fault. She surprised me. "What was that all about?" Krish asked as he walked into the hospital room. After the unwelcome interruption, Alibi was glad to see a familiar face. Dr. Curry followed Krish in. "You look like you've seen a ghost," Krish said to Alibi. "Maybe it's because I just talked to one," Alibi said. "Oh, really?" Krish said. "What did you say to it?" "Nothing," Alibi said. I didn't know what to say. I broke the connection." "Oh." Alibi sighed. He looked down at his leg. "I want to check out," Alibi said. Doctors Krish and Curry nodded, but didn't move. "Now?" Alibi added. "That's not possible," Krish said. Dr. Curry shook his head. "Why not?" Alibi asked. "Maybe in about a week," Krish said. "But we are still doing tests on your leg. We also had to call in another cyborg specialist after losing Bially. They won't be here for a few days." "We don't know yet what danger that leg poses to you, or to the rest of us, for that matter," Dr. Curry said. "It's not safe for you to be in an uncontrolled environment at this point. There's no telling what could happen." "You've only just got your blood counts back up to normal," Krish said. Alibi frowned. "It's okay, Alibi," Krish said. "We'll get you back in the field in no time." The two doctors began to leave the room. "Krish, hold up a sec, huh?" Alibi called out. "Go ahead, Mal. I'll catch up," Krish said to Curry. He came back over to the side of Alibi's bed. "Krish, did you ever know my mother?" "What a strange question, Alibi," Krish said. "Why, no, not really. I know of her, certainly. I knew your father well. We all know how she killed BC. She called me up, out of nowhere, this afternoon," Alibi said. "The ghost I saw." "Oh," Krish said. "Well, I am sorry to hear that. So you didn't talk to her?" "No, I hung up on her. Cut her off." "Well," Krish said, "not sure what you have to say to her, eh? She shouldn't have surprised you like that, I suppose." "Nope," Alibi said. "Well, you might want to call her back, Alibi," Krish said. "Why would I want to do that? It is sometimes a good idea to reconcile with our mother and father, even when they are distant and remote. It can free up your own spirit, unshackle you from chains you didn't even know you were in." "Is that philosophy?" Alibi asked. "Common sense," Krish said. "Can't build on shaky foundations now, can you?" Krish looked over at the door. "I've got to catch up with Dr. Curry," Krish said, "but I will see what I can find out about getting you back to your base." "Thank you, Krish," Alibi said, as Krish headed out. Alibi called up the comm to conduct a search, to see if he could find out what was up with his mother. He thought she was locked up, put away. But it turned out she'd recently been released from the hospital facility where she'd been held since she'd killed his father, Bernard Campion, and found insane. She was listed as a resident of the colony world Fortuna. It looked like the old cult she'd been in was trying to make a comeback there. Someone was calling themselves the Light, the traditional name for their leader, and calling old cult members to join them in their commune. Some of those members seemed to have arranged for his mother's release into their custody. They'd used her father's name, but he was long dead. How can they do that? What's going on here? Something else caught Alibi's eye. He hit a news item featuring his mother. It was filed recently, within the last 12 hours or so. A glaring graphic showed Alibi and Ruth's faces, overlapping, with the blaring headline, "Like Mother, Like Son, Exclusive Interview." Oh no. That was Chapter 24 of Alibi Jones and the Hornet's Nest on Glow in the Dark Radio. Alibi Jones is stuck in the hospital and he wants out. He hasn't really told anybody about the Rodet just yet, really hasn't had a chance. Being under attack and all, and still processing it all too, you know. But he might have to let people know about that, or at least tell Krish about it, so they'll let him go. Or would they? At least he survived Dr. Bially's bizarre attack, and he survived the call out of nowhere from his mother, Ruth. But now it looks like Ruth is talking to the news media. That cannot be good. Find out what she has to say in Chapter 25 of Alibi Jones and the Hornet's Nest, coming up on our next episode of Glow in the Dark Radio. Once again, please consider becoming a patron and helping to support the podcast if you can, for $2, $5, or $10 a month. The economy being what it is, I understand if you cannot. But I also have some folks who had to drop out as patrons because of that as well, so I could use some new supporters if you can, and you enjoy what you're hearing. I don't run commercials, so if you can do $2, $5, or $10 a month as a contribution towards the podcast, please consider becoming a patron at patreon.com/glowinthedarkradio, and just head to that address to find out more. That is all for this week. I'm your host, your writer and reader, Mike Luoma. Thank you again for listening to Glow in the Dark Radio. Glow in the Dark Radio. This podcast presentation is copyright 2026 by Michael F. Luoma and is protected under a Creative Commons Attribution, Non-Commercial, No Derivatives 4.0 International License, CC by NCND 4.0. Music by Kevin MacLeod. You can find his work at incompetech.com. Mike's books are available in ebook, paperback, and audiobook, wherever you find books online. Get links and more details at glowinthedarkradio.com and mikeluoma.com. This has been a presentation of Glow in the Dark Radio.